Okay, so this is part 3 of our presentation on nouns. So in the first part, we talked about how to identify a noun, what a noun is. Remember, we talked about the test. We talked about some different types of nouns, things like common and proper, abstract and concrete, things like that. In the second part, we talked about plural nouns and singular nouns, whether or not there's one or more than one, and we talked about possessive nouns, when nouns show ownership of another, or one noun shows ownership of another. So a lot of people, not just students, people mix up plural and possessive nouns. So I want to kind of go over just a little bit of how you tell these apart. So to check whether your noun is plural, possessive, or both, first figure out if there's one or more than one thing being described. If there's only one, it's singular. If there's more than one, it's plural. Then look to see if there are two nouns in a row. If there are not two nouns in a row, it's probably not possessive anyway. If there are two nouns in a row, check to see if one is showing ownership of the other. For instance, if you have the boy's book, the book belongs to the boy, so you are showing one is showing ownership. If it's yes, then it's possessive. If the answer is no, then it's not possessive. And from there, you can figure out how to place those S's or those apostrophe S's or the apostrophes depending on what's going on. Here's a flowchart that you can use as a reference. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but you can kind of use this to determine whether or not you need just an S, apostrophe S, just an apostrophe, no changes at all. It kind of goes through all of the situations that in a noun ending in S, where you might have plurality or possession that needs to be indicated. So you can reference this during proofreading if you need to. So now we're going to talk a little bit about what are called articles. Articles are a special type of adjective that is put before nouns, and they show how much of something there is, or actually they only show that there's one of something, but or which one. And so you have two types of articles. You have indeterminate and determinate. Indeterminate articles show one possible example of something. And determinate show a specific example of something. So indeterminate articles, there are two indeterminate articles. There is a and an. They work very similarly. In both cases, it could be any of something. So a girl is at the store. It could be any girl. An hour is 60 minutes. It could be any hour. You're not talking about a specific hour. The difference between a and an is the sound that comes after it. If you have a consonant sound after or in the noun, then you use a. So a girl starts with a consonant sound. If you have a vowel sound or a vowel, then you use an. So why do we do this? It's because multiple vowels in a row are hard to pronounce. Egg is cooking. It's really hard to hear where the a and the e are, where the word a and the word egg are separated. So we say an egg is cooking just to make it easier to hear. That's really the only reason we do it. So the determinate article, there's only one in English. It's the word the. The girl is at the store. You're talking about a specific girl. And why am I talking about articles with nouns when they're actually adjectives? Well, because we only use them with nouns. And they kind of go with the noun. They pair with the noun. So it's easier to talk about this here than to talk about adjectives. Which is a whole other big pile of things. So, types of articles. An article is a word that modifies or describes the noun. It's a specific type of adjective. It is used to show whether or not you're talking about a specific noun or a not specific noun. So again, definite is a particular specific entity. The cat is on the couch. I'm talking about a very specific cat. Indefinite means that it could be any of something. So do you have a pencil? I'm not asking for your favorite pencil, the pencil. I'm just asking for any pencil. I want to have an apple. I'm not asking for the pretty apple with the green skin on the counter. I'm just asking for any apple that you happen to have. And the biggest thing that I've noticed in this class and in other classes is that students sometimes mix up when to use a and an. And again, you use a with consonant sounds and an with vowel sounds. And here's a little flowchart, including the few exceptions to the rule. So if you need to refer back to this, then you can when you're proofreading to make sure that you're using these correctly. And another slide, I'm not going to go through it, the whole thing, because we've talked about a lot of this, but I like to use sources online, especially on things that sometimes cause confusion, so that you know that what I'm saying is substantiated by other sources. It's not just my rules. These are the rules that we have all collectively agreed on in English. So there are some also some other rules here that are worth looking at. Like for instance, A is often used the first time we introduce an object. The is used when we mention the object again. A is often used as a synonym for the number 1. You could say, I have a cat, I have one cat. They kind of work the same way. A is often used one of a group. He is a member of the team. Or the is kind of used before certain adjectives to give it, to make it treat like a plural. The rich, the 1%ers, things like that. These are unusual situations, and this is just meant for you to kind of reference back to if you need to just double check something. So that brings us pretty close to the end of this, and I wanted to include a brief little noun editing checklist at the end because I know we covered a lot of information here. So if you're unsure, if you don't need to do this with every single noun in your paragraphs or your essays because that would take forever. But if you're unsure of something, like you read through a sentence and you go, oh, this doesn't quite sound right, I wonder what's wrong here, then you can use this editing checklist to kind of try to figure out where you need to go from here. So check each noun to decide if it's countable or uncountable. So if it's uncountable, if it's a mass noun, then it's all singular. It's pretty easy. If it's countable, you might want to check to see if it's singular or plural, and to check for consistency in your plural or singularity, meaning make sure you use the same form each time. And then you want to double check your subject-verb agreement. And remember that third-person singular subjects have verbs that end in S. The cat walks. Walks ends in S. And then check for plurality and possession to make sure that you're using those correctly, and double check to make sure that your article use is consistent and appropriate to the consonant sound that you're using. So if you have a vowel sound, you're using an. If you have a consonant sound, you're using a. And so that is all for the nouns. I will have this uploaded for you very soon, and you guys have a great day.